let's stop stigmatizing mental health. Because I feel like most people don't want to go asking for help because they fear the stigmatization that comes from it.
99 FM, this is your inspiration station, and it's time for MYD Heart, and we are joined by Kapiya, who's a clinical psychologist intern at Uni-Health, and she's here to tell us more about functional depression. Now, this forms part of a series of topics that we will be focusing on over the next couple of Thursdays. Uni-Health offers decentralized mental health services and training, and is passionate about academic development of Namibians, as is Kapiya, who joins us today. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
This is a topic that we've been discussing on air for a couple of weeks now, and I'm learning more and more as time goes. Now, with the chat today is functional depression.
Yeah.
What is functional depression?
Okay, so functional depression is also known as high function depression. It's actually not a diagnosis. You don't go to the doctor and get diagnosed with it. And this is when a person has all or some of the symptoms of major depressive disorder, which is what we find in the DSM, but then they are not the same severity as that of that person that is of having depression. So then they can't get diagnosed. So this person is functioning, this person is going to work, this person is socializing even, but then this person goes home at night and then they can't sleep or they sleep for hours. And so they are functioning on the outside, but in the inside they are not.
It is depression still.
Yeah.
So what are some of the signs to look out for? Because now it operates in a gray area that might be difficult to identify. So what are some of the signs that maybe people can pick up on?
So some of the signs will be you have a low mood, you have lack of energy most times, lack of motivation, changes in your appetite, you are sleeping less or you are sleeping more, lack of interest in work, you don't want to go to work anymore, you might have thoughts of suicide or death, feeling worthless or guilty, but then for you it will go on for a very long time, but then if it goes on for a shorter period, for like let's say intense feelings for 2 weeks, then it might be major depression. But then if it goes on for years and you wake up, you go to work, you are okay, you are functioning, then that's functional depression.
So we've identified some of the signs. What are some of the treatments alternatively then that are available right now? So
first of all, you need to go see somebody. If you feel this, you are having any of these symptoms, go and see somebody so that they can decide what type of depression is it. And then if you go to a medical doctor, then or a psychiatrist, they'll give a medication. But then we talk about talk therapy, which is what I do. Talk therapy. We'll talk, we'll look at, use things like CBT, we'll look at things like mindfulness, we'll teach you how to deal with these emotions, we'll talk about it, basically. So talk therapy will be the best. And how can, for the listener out there listening now and saying, okay, I may be identifying these things, or I feel like I might be identifying some of these signs, and I've maybe identified it in someone else as well. How can we get a hold of you guys to make use of your services? Okay, so we are in Eros. That is at 25 Heliodor Street. You can call us as well. That will be on 083 337 6140 or 083 337 6149. And then you just call and you book that you want to talk to a psychologist or you want to talk to somebody. And we are a lot of interns there, and I'm sure you'll find somebody that's suitable for you. And any last words? Because this is a topic that I think is important, and maybe not a conversation that is being had enough and in as many spaces as possible. There's still definitely a lot of stigma surrounding the conversation of depression and mental health. We always say mental illness, but even mental health becomes, there's a stigma around it. So just your parting message maybe to our listeners surrounding the entire conversation of mental health and maybe even functional depression specifically. So the first thing I'll say is take care of you first. So if you're going to take care of you, don't shy away from asking for help. You don't feel shame in asking for help when you think that, okay, maybe I'm not coping. And then let's stop stigmatizing mental health. Because I feel like most people don't want to go asking for help because they fear the stigmatization that comes from it. So don't fear, don't stigmatize it. If you're okay going to a doctor for a cough, why don't you go to a doctor for depression, or why don't you go somebody when it comes to your mental health? So yeah.
Very important. Anna, thank you. Thank you so much for coming through and shedding light on functional depression.
Thank you for having me.
And if you're tuning in now and wondering who's giving us all this information that is very necessary and I think is very important to our society, that is Anna Kapiya, who's a clinical psychologist intern at Uni-Health. And next week, Thursday, we will be joined by Marilise Duplessis, who's a psychological counselor at Uni-Health, who will be talking about positive self-talk. But as far as functional depression goes, the chat, I absolutely loved it, and I think it's a conversation that can exist in so many spaces. And I'm proud to have you here on 99.
Thank you so much. So let's go out there and read up on it. Okay, thank you.
For now, let's dive back into the music. So part of being happy is music, and we have Lioness with Tala coming up next on 99 FM.
MYD Heart was proudly brought to you by NHP. NHP, we are about you.